Protecting consumers or destroying jobs? Concerns growing this weekend over White House plans to create a new massive government bureaucracy in the name of keeping American consumers safe. But one business group already warning it won't protect anyone and will end up hurting job creators. Who's got it right? Hi everyone, I'm Brenda Butner. This is Bulls and Bears. Let's get right down to it. Bulls and Bears this week. Gary B. Smith, Tobin Smith, Pat Dorsey, along with Fox Business Network's Brian Sullivan and radio talk show host Mark Levine. Welcome to everybody. Okay, Toby, is this a job killer?
Of course it's a job killer. I mean, the unintended consequences are starting now. For instance, let's say you're a dentist or a furniture store and you want to extend credit to your customer. Well, if it's more than 4 payments, it comes under the big tent of bureaucracy. Now, what happens, of course, is you don't lend as much, and when you don't lend as much, you don't have as much business. Then you don't have as many employees. This is not rocket science. When you overregulate, you underemploy.
But actually, Mark, you like this, huh?
I like it a lot. All this does is it allows consumers to know the truth. Now, I know there are businesses that don't want consumers to know the truth. They want them to think that they're paying $100, but then after 4 years and 23%, lo and behold, they're paying $400. The only people who will lose jobs are the people who are trying to scam consumers. I don't care if they lose their job. They've already lost their souls.
Well, there is going to be some job creation, Brian, right? Right in Washington, D.C.
Bureaucracy, yeah.
If you want to get into real estate, do it in the Washington metropolitan area, right? Because I think that's where the job creation is going to come from. I completely agree with Toby here. Listen, you may not like JP Morgan Chase, using them as an example, but if you make them spin off their trading desk and their hedge fund unit, those are the units that are making money. So what's left? The hulk of a bank with a lot of commercial real estate loans that may or may not go bad. What are they not going to do? They're not going to lend money. To who? Companies that want to expand and do what? Hire people.
Did you rehearse that? That was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
I did
All
not,
right.
actually.
Gary
Will
B.
somebody tell me what's wrong with preventing fraud? What's wrong with telling consumers what they're actually buying?
We already have the laws. They
Because
just got to enforce them, for crying out loud. We have laws
and
this thick on this
agency
issue.
will do that.
Oh,
this
that's right.
agency will
Okay.
enforce the
Hold
law.
on. Gary B.,
we need
why
more
do
people.
we need a new agency?
Yeah, boy, that is the million-dollar question. Why? Because it's the Obama administration's way of taking over our entire economy, Brenda. Look, this is going to be yet another government agency that gets in between and in the way and creates friction between businesses and consumers. Look, you've already seen the effect on the credit card industry. You know, rates are now up. It's harder to get credit cards. And the effect of all this limiting credit, which is really the intent of this bill. This bill is put in place to eliminate the kind of credit that the Obama administration doesn't like. The problem is, it's already been studied by George Mason's come out with a study. It's going to cut 60,000 jobs a year. The reason, Toby had some good examples. I'll give you another one. Angel investors, those private equity, kind of wealthier people that come up with money to fund, companies like Google and things like that. They'll be restricted. They'll be under the auspices of these, and it'll take months to get approval, not just a couple days now. And so all that kind of credit throughout the board is going to be cut. The people that need it most, small businesses, are going to be hurt. And there's your loss of jobs.
That is the only time you've ever been associated with an angel.
Well,
hold on. Let me get to Pat, though. Pat, what do you think of this bill?
Well, I mean, as Toby points out, there are anti-fraud, anti-predatory lending provisions already on the books. They're very poorly enforced. So, if that really is the intent of this consumer protection portion of a very large bill, then, the stuff's already out there. There's really just no point in kind of, doing it, creating a second, set of regulations that then won't get enforced either. I mean, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What I don't want to see is, the, kind of silliness of this part of the bill kill the whole thing, because there are some positive aspects to it that clean up the regulatory structure surrounding large iBanks. But this part of it, the laws are already on the books.
Okay,
it's a non-issue.
Right, well, let's get to that, Mark. What is different? What does this agency provide that we don't already have?
This is a one-stop shopping for consumers. I don't know about you, but I've been defrauded by lots of businesses. There are banks right now that'll charge you a $25 fee for not having enough money in the bank. I don't know how else in America you can charge someone for not having enough money.
How you've been defrauded.
So it's pretty simple. Watch your
Oh,
statement
there's all
and
kinds
deposit
of- there's
some money before you
businesses-
spend it.
I mean, you can't
There's all
legislate.
kinds of businesses. They sell things. They're wrong. This is a way for consumers to have protection. If a business defrauds you, if a business says it's going to cost you one thing and then they throw you on with all these additional charges in the back, you
But
have
how
a
have you
place
been
to go
defrauded?
to.
Don't do business with them.
Right, change company.
Well, you can't. Listen, I got to tell you, I've gone to the Better Business Bureau. They say, well, we don't trust this company. This is a nice place for consumers. What is wrong with telling consumers the truth?
What companies are you doing business with that you're being defrauded by?
Oh,
That's
I've gone
what I
on the
wanna
internet.
know.
I bought stuff that they didn't give me what they said they were going to give me. What this bill mostly does is it amends the Truth
How
in
is
Lending
that-
Act.
how
so that
is this
people
even
know
just
what
like
they're
a-
getting.
Hold on. Let Mark finish.
Well,
Mark.
if you go
Wait,
if you go to joebobsbookstore.com and they don't send you the book you ordered, that's not a federal issue. It's not something you need to regulate at the federal level, gang.
No, but if I go to the furniture store and I buy a piece of furniture and they charge me this installment plan and hidden in the fine print is hundreds of dollars in extra charges that I didn't see and I didn't know about, then, I'm out of luck.
Well,
what
Mark,
this
Mark,
agency does is it
Mark,
says, let me tell you what this agency does. It's going to give us a number and it's going to say, you're going to pay $532. And I know that's what I'm going to pay. What is wrong with telling the
Mark,
consumer
actually-
what they're going to pay?
Hey, hold
What's
on.
wrong with that?
Actually, there's some fraud sometimes in government bureaucracies, as Brian might tell us concerning the SEC.
Well, I was.
Well, that's true, and you got to watch those credit card payments on those online porn sites, right? Because they might stick you with a couple extra charges. Listen, in 1934, the SEC passed sweeping insider trading rule regulations. In 2002, Sarbanes-Oxley was prevented to stop corporate fraud. Thankfully, it prevented banks from failing.
Well,
Please note my sarcasm.
Look at the common sense
By
idea.
the way, I worked in Congress at that time. The Republicans opposed Sarbanes-Oxley, and it's only because of people like Barney Frank, who I worked for, that it got
All right,
through.
that's
Thank you
fine.
very much.
Let's not get into that issue.
right.
We're talking about this agency. We were just talking about the SEC because
here's the SEC that done such a great job that it turns out that they can actually find porno, but they can't find Bernie Madoff, right? So these are the type of people that we're going to
found Bernie clothes off.
But yeah, that's all. Listen, I work alone. The bigger issue here is that when we look about common sense, let's just take common sense, which is not to add another level of bureaucracy that is from a failed business model that can't find their way out of a
Do you really think
tunnel.
consumers know where to go? Do you really think if
But
they have been
Mark,
defrauded,
Mark,
if they have hidden charges and fees, that they know where to go? This way, they're going to have a 1-800 number. They call up and they say, hello, government,
Wait a second.
this guy told me he was
Mark.
going to charge me $100,
Mark.
and they charged me $500. What's wrong with
Credit
that?
cards are not a social right.
And
I got stuck with a credit
But
card.
they
and
don't have a
slapped
right
up,
to
Mark,
defraud
hold on,
you.
They slapped up the fees on me. I paid a bill off and shut my account down. It's not a social right.
Well, also, you could actually, if you buy the furniture on an installment plan and you know what you're paying, your point is the government, the nanny state, needs to tell me. How about the buyer having responsibility to figure out what the hell they're paying?
Well, have you
Okay,
ever signed
guys,
one of those
hold on.
20-page contracts?
let me ask you one question. Is this going to kill jobs? Toby?
No.
Yes, it absolutely does in many industries that are vendor financed. If vendor financing gets cut, sales get cut, jobs get cut.
Brian?
No, not inside the Beltway.
That's okay, there we go. Mark, is it going to kill jobs?
The only jobs it'll kill are those who are trying to defraud consumers, and they deserve to lose their jobs.
Gary B?
Anytime you put an agency in that's going to cut credit, it has to kill jobs by definition.
Pat?
Demand for credit is shrinking right now, so I think the effect is probably pretty nil, though I don't like the idea of it.
Come on, Pat, get excited about this thing.
Okay, and we have learned that the Toby Bryan team, they're pretty good. All right, coming up. They told us the health care law will push down our medical bills. Wait till you hear what the government's health agency just told us.